Plaintiff John Lemkow says 8 years ago he adopted his son when he was just 3 years old and rescued him from a neglectful and abusive home. John and his son moved near the defendants a couple of years ago, and when John got ill, the defendants agreed to take custody of his son. John claims the defendants eventually returned his son, and he's suing them today for personal property. Defendant Julie Larson and her husband Mike say when they took John's son in, they planned on keeping him forever. Julie claims John's son called them mom and dad, and they considered him part of their family. However, they were forced to give him back to John because their own son was having problems with him, and they deny owing John for unreturned property.
Tell me what happened.
Well, it's ironic that I'm here in court before you because before this case I had intended to send you a letter because I knew you were a respected member of your community, to ask for help in finding a backup family for my adopted 11-year-old son.
What do you mean a backup family? Someone to help you raise the child now?
No, in case something happened to me, I wanted somebody to be able to take him in care of him.
How old are you?
I'm 73 and single.
You said that like you're looking for somebody that's available.
I want you to set him up with somebody.
Yeah, you want me to set you up with somebody?
A little old now.
Yeah, no, you're not, sir, and that's the point I was going to make. God forbid you pass on before the child is an adult, but the child only has 7 years before he's 18, and
yes.
Quite frankly, I think you'll still be around.
I don't know. I've been kind of sick lately.
Oh, okay. All right. God bless you, and we'll say a prayer for you. However, this is an adopted child, or
yes.
Where's the birth parent?
The birth parents, the mother didn't want him, and
that was 11 years ago.
Yes.
What about now?
No, she
still doesn't want any association. How about the dad?
We don't know who the dad was.
Well, there's some things that can be done to help with that situation. Okay. There's a lot of things. You have a lot of choices that you may not know of. So I'm going to have my staff get with you and go over some of those choices with you. Okay. And I'm sure both you and your son will be pleased to know that the future will be secure for him.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, but you're going to be around until he's grown. If you've had some illness, hey, who knows? God is the only determiner of when it's time. You could outlive me. So, anything else you want to tell me about? I'm just curious about this 11-year-old. You want to expound on that? How did you become the caretaker?
I lived on the south side of Chicago in the Roseland area, and my next door neighbor was an elderly woman, and she took care of 3 foster children, one of who was my son's mother. It became apparent that she didn't want to take care of her child, and so she would disappear for weeks at a time. And the next door neighbor then would call me up and ask me if I could come over and bathe him and get him up and feed him, which I did. We really bonded.
Mother was a crackhead or something?
No, she wasn't on drugs. That was fortunate.
Why did she give up her child? Any particular reason?
She just didn't want the responsibilities of raising him.
How old was the mother?
The mom was 19.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, there was a couple incidents I did want to tell you about his mother. When he was about 1.5, he had handed his mother a book. And I'm sorry, I get emotional, but she snatched it out of his hand and smacked him over the head and said, "I can't read, so there's no need for you to." And there was another incident where he was about 1.5, and we had a huge electrical storm with lots of thunder and lightning. And I thought I heard a bump at the door, and it was about 11 o'clock at night. And I went to answer the door, and there was Sean standing there in his diaper with a little blanket over his shoulder, and he said he was scared and wanted to be with me. So I was adopted too. My father was a Methodist minister, and I had a really happy childhood. And I just couldn't stand the idea of this really sweet kid going into foster care. So his mother came to me and asked me if I wanted him, and I said, well, I'd have to think about it because this was a big commitment. I was 65 at the time. I have a picture here I'd like you to see.
So the mother asked you if you wanted the child. Oh,
Yes.
my goodness, handsome young guy.
I completed the adoption in Chicago, went through in 2004, and he's been with me for over 8 years now, and it's been absolutely the most wonderful experience of my life. I love this kid to death, and I only want his happiness and a good future for him.
Before we get to the unreturned property you're suing about, I wanted to see if the defendants have any background about themselves or their association with you or anything else.
Your Honor, it's actually a shame that we have to be here today because from the beginning, from the day I met John and Sean, all my husband and I and our boys wanted was to make sure that Sean was taken care of and that he was happy and healthy.
Where did you meet him?
He was a neighborhood boy that I have a 10-year-old. They're the same age, actually, just a month apart, and they went to school together. Sean was a neighbor of ours, and we didn't know John. We had an occasional meeting with him once or twice. Hi, hello, how are you? Sean was at our house for dinner, playing with my kids, birthday parties. We had, he's a great kid, really, really, really good kid. John has done an awesome job with him. On Halloween of 2008, about 11 o'clock, we were at our neighbor's house and there was a knock on the door and it was Sean. And he had told us that his dad was dead. So we ran over to the house to find John laying on the floor, passed out, covered in blood, and I called 911. We got him to regain consciousness and we took him he was taken by ambulance to the hospital, and Sean came to stay with us. From November through March, Sean had to call the paramedics 4 or 5 more times for his father. And every time the paramedics were called, Sean would come and stay with us. In March, John called me and told me that there was a DHS worker at his house, and so I ran over there, and this DHS worker basically told us that John wasn't healthy enough to take care of Sean and that he needed to find alternative arrangements for him or he would be placed in foster care. My husband and I have 3 boys of our own. We don't live in a huge house. It's a 1,400 square foot home with 3 bedrooms. And we had a few hours to decide Sean's fate. Did we want him to go into the foster care system, or did we want to try to bring him into our family, which we did willingly. We were happy to do that. We didn't want to see, after everything that he'd gone through as a child, we didn't want anything less for Sean than a happy life. So we took him in. He lived with us for 6 months. He called us mom and dad. He called his brothers. He had grandmas and grandpas and cousins, things he'd never had before. Sorry. And all while taking care of his son, I was taking care of John too. And I'm sorry.
Where's the son now?
He's back with John. Because by the end of August, my 10-year-old wasn't doing well. He, when we took Rashawn in, we were so concerned about Rashawn and what was going to happen to Rashawn. Nobody ever took into account our kids. Mm-hmm. We had 3 boys. I have a 10-year-old.
How did he end up going back?
Well, it got to the point where my husband and I had to have a tough decision. It's not an easy decision to make because we went into this as forever. This was forever for us.
And he's still alive, as you say?
Yeah, he was doing well. He was going to the casinos. He was going out to dinner.
The kid?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
John was. John was.
You teaching the boy bad habits.
No, John. He was. John was doing better. He had regained his strength. And
all right, we got to move on to the property.
The property. So what had happened was he's devastated, as we are.
Let me allow him because he's suing you. How did they obtain your property, and what has caused you to sue them about your property?
Okay, when the defendant offered to store the property in their garage, I had over 40 boxes. Most of it was Christmas decorations, but there was a lot of other things too. When they gave Sean back to me. When I picked up a lot of my items later on, then there were a lot of missing things.
Like what? Do you have a list?
Yes, I do.
Let's see the list. What do you all want to tell me about
Honor.
what happened to his things? He said when he left it with you, it was all there. When he came back, some of it was missing.
Yeah, you're right. There was things that were missing. When John was in the hospital in March, he had me sign a power of attorney for him, and Sean both. He is on a limited income, so we had to downsize him from his 3-bedroom home that was living in our neighborhood. And when I downsized him, we had a keep, sell, get rid of pile, basically. We stored numerous boxes in our garage for 4, 5, 6 months, waiting for John to get better so that we could go through these boxes, because the intention was that we were going to have Rashawn forever, and we wanted to make sure that the things that was important to him that Rashawn keep, that we held on to. In the sell pile, I took numerous items to a consignment shop, which I have the list of.
And were you paid for those
I
items?
was paid for those, and John also was reimbursed
Did
for.
you give him all the money you received for his property?
I gave him. Yeah, I have the cash checks and the pictures and the consignment.
Now, do the checks or anything else mention the items that
Yeah, there's
were
a printout,
sold?
and there's a printout of the items sold, all the pictures.
Now compare them
and-
to this. You mentioned 2 paintings. This mentions 2. You mentioned 4 sculptures. I'm sorry. No, it's 6 sculptures. I see the other 2.
And I also, Your Honor, have a notarized letter from.
Where's the stuffed animals? I don't see the man's animals.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to get to, Your Honor,
Well, what do
is
you-
that there was a get rid of pile, and there were stuffed animals. There were things that we did take to Goodwill, and the reason being is that we had 4 boys living in a house, and it was the summertime.
Could he
It
speak? Was he totally incapacitated?
No, he never was incapacitated or unable to speak.
Okay. Did
He
you
can-
ask him, can I donate these things to Goodwill?
I
That's
did.
not
And
I-
he said yes.
Yes.
Did they ever ask about donating anything to Goodwill?
Not at all. I had a friend that originally wanted to store the things there. But I'll be honest, I thought I was dying, and I thought it would be better to have the things stored at the defendant's home. If she didn't want any of these things, all she had to do was tell me. I would have had my friend pick these items up, and we would have stored them in his garage.
All right, sir, I see evidence that they sold $1,250 worth of items. Did you get $1,250?
No.
Did he get
Your Honor,
$1,250?
no, that's.
All right, no is good enough.
No.
$5,000 for the plaintiff. You sold his things. You didn't even give him the $1,250. You donated the other to Goodwill, saying that he was right there donating them. He could have donated to Goodwill himself. $5,000 for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
It's unfortunate because I thought we would remain friends after this happened, but it doesn't look like it will. But I have no animosity. I really appreciate all that she and her husband did for me, and I will never forget that.